الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وعلى آله وأصحابه الطيبين الطاهرين وعلى أزواجه أمهات المؤمنين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, indeed, I enjoin upon you and upon myself the fear of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Insha'Allah, our khutbah today will be focusing on one of the hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam transmitted by Imam Muslim. In that hadith, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying that man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman, man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman, sahhala Allahu lahu tariqan ila al-jannah. In this noble hadith, which is a long hadith, but this portion of it, and as we say, transmitted by Imam Muslim, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is saying that man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman, whoever took to the path of seeking for knowledge, whoever took to the path of seeking for knowledge, whoever struggled in order for him to have the knowledge of the deen, or to have or to learn any kind of knowledge acceptable to the Sharia, acceptable by Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, any useful knowledge, rather, because the ilman, that is any knowledge which is useful, al-ilm al-nafi', man salaka tariqan yaltamisu fihi ilman, whoever took to the path of seeking for knowledge, then Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the Prophet says, sahhala Allahu lahu, Allah will ease for him tariqan ila al-jannah, the path to Jannah. So if we look at this hadith, our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is encouraging us to struggle as much as we can in order to learn any knowledge that can help us in making us better people. Better, first of all, in the sense that, yes, it gets you closer to your Maker, it gets you closer to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, and also helps you in your worldly life. And like I do say to us from time to time, when we talk about knowledge of the deen, it is not just about learning how to pray, learning how to just recite the Quran, or learning what, what you need to do in Hajj or fasting, but virtually, knowledge of the deen covers knowledge of your life. Because Islam generally is about your way of life. It's not something restricted to the mosque alone, but rather is a deen. It is a system that governs your life entirely. Because as a human being, and most especially as a believer, you know that 100% of your life is supposed to be what? Submitted to Allah. You're not supposed to have any second thinking it belongs to you, and you can do whatever you like with it, and nobody is going to hold you accountable for it. So that's why when we talk about knowledge, then yes, it is all kind of knowledge. Knowledge of maybe the Quran, knowledge of the Hadith, maybe medicine, chemistry, whatever. Any useful knowledge is Islamic knowledge. Because Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, in a verse of the Quran, said to us that مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is left untouched. In what? In the book. And that's why today you want to discuss business. If there are Islamic guidelines, there are Islamic principles related to business. Marriage, yes, there is guideline. There's nothing you want to do as a Muslim that there is no way Allah Ta'ala expects you to do. So in essence, and for you to do anything right, then you need to do it with what? Understanding. Yes, for instance, okay, maybe as a Muslim you say La ilaha illallah and you accept Islam. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and you accept Islam. So just mere saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah and they just tell you it means, there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Yet mere saying that alone is not just what makes you a Muslim. Then you need to say it, you need to understand it, and you need to live by it. Like the Sahabas usually tell us that in the time of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he usually taught them certain number of verses of the Quran, and they don't cross those verses to the next level until they know how to recite it, understand its meaning, and also practicalize its teachings. So Islam is a deen, is a way of life that is, guided by knowledge, that is based on enlightenment. And that's why Allah Ta'ala, when He loves a servant, as said by the Prophet, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayra," He said, whoever Allah desires with good, what will He do? He said, yufaqihu fi deen. He bestows on him the understanding of the deen. So in essence, to get to Jannah, because everyone prays for Jannah, we all want to get into Jannah, then for you to get to Jannah, the easiest way to get to Jannah is what? Seek for knowledge. If you look at the first word revealed in the Quran, says what? Iqra, read. It did not say Allah. It didn't mention Allah. Because yes, it is that knowledge that makes you to know who what Allah is. So through knowledge, through learning, then you know who Allah is. I say, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Read in the name of your Lord, who created. خلق الإنسان من علق. اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. So, he said, whoever took to the path of seeking for knowledge, then Allah will ease for him the path to Jannah. When you learn the deen, when you have understanding of the deen of Islam, then you will know your right, what is right from what is wrong. Because what gets you to Jannah are things that are what? Right. And things that take you to hell are things that are what? Wrong. And things that are right or wrong are not things you think are right, and are not things you think are wrong. That is, right or wrong is not just merely determined by your thinking. And that's why when you put together different kind of people, you will see that what is right to someone is what? Wrong to another person. What is okay for someone is not okay for another person. They say one man's food is what? Another man's poison. So, the person who ultimately have the right or have the wisdom to determine right or wrong, and that is, guaranteed, is who? Allah Ta'ala. Because he is someone who sets guidelines or rules for you, not for his own benefit, but rather for your own benefit. But apart from Allah Ta'ala, in most cases, it's difficult for anyone to set a rule for you without he first of all looking at his own benefit. Yeah. Anyone except Allah setting any rule for you, there is something he's expecting from that. Anybody, anyone, except Allah Ta'ala. And that is why when you obey him, then you have a good life. Because they are rules or things He set for you for your own benefit. He looks at your benefit, like the deen. Allah commanded you to worship Him. Worshipping Him doesn't mean doing what elevates Him or what adds anything to Him, as we usually hear from scholars. Because we usually remind ourselves, He has never changed. He has never changed. Your presence or your absence doesn't change anything in Him. I usually tell us this. What He was before you were created, that's what He is when you were created. And or where that is what He was when you were created. And that's what He will still remain the day you will die. Before you were created, He's Allah. After you are created, He's what? Allah. And when you die, He is still what? Allah. So you don't add anything to Him. That's why He said, "Man amila salihan falinafsi." Whoever does good is for who? For himself. وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ. Whoever does evil, who suffers it, فَعَلَيْهَا, He's the one who suffers it. Oh, but for example, or maybe you say someone chairman. Yes, you call him chairman because yes, he maybe the owner of the company, and you are working under him. Yes, if you like, you can move him from the chairman. Maybe there will be a procedure, right? Okay, somebody may be a chairman of a company today because he has the largest share in that company. So the day someone bought the shares more than him, the person can say, okay, no, I'm supposed to be the chairman now. Right? Or maybe, like I do give example, or maybe as we are here, okay, you call someone imam because you shouldered him with a responsibility. And now you are also what? His ma'mum, his follower, because you are behind him. So, you know, it can still change. So the imam can become ma'mum and ma'mum can become imam. Yes, if everyone refuses to come to the mosque and you are alone as imam in the mosque, you are not imam because you are not leading anybody. So their presence gave you that name. So their absence will remove the name. You vote someone in, you call him what? President. And some will pass a vote of no confidence in him. He becomes what? Former president. Or his tenure finished, you call him what? Former president. So our own, the things around you affect your what? Your status. Unlike Allah. One time they say you are an infant, another time they say you are what? A baby. Or what? One time they say what? Youth. And from there you say what? Elders. Have it? So you see that you are changing. Unlike Allah. So looking at this hadith, like I said, it encourages us to struggle in order to learn our deen, in order to learn what Allah expects of us. And like I said, when I say learning, yes, as a Muslim, there are some basic knowledge you're supposed to know. Or as a Muslim, yes, there at least you need to have some basic knowledge of the Quran. It has nothing to do with whether you want to be Imam or you don't want to be Imam, because everyone observes Salah. So all Muslims are supposed to know how to recite Fatiha. All Muslims, whether you are an Imam or not an Imam. So the Imam is supposed to know how to read Fatiha. You that is not Imam is also supposed to what? Know how to recite what? Fatiha. Why? Because the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to us in a hadith that la salata liman lam yaqra bi al-kitab. There is no salah for the one who did not recite Fatiha. So some little portions of the Quran you should be able to understand them. For knowledge of your salah, yes, you pray in congregation. In congregation, there are things that also you do on your own. When you do your sujood, the imam doesn't do your adhkar for you in sujood or in ruku'. Sometimes you miss the salah and you pray alone. So when you don't know some of the basic guidelines or some of the basic rules of the salah, then your salah will become what? Have a problem. One day the Messenger ﷺ was sitting at the mosque. After the salah, a Sahaba came into the mosque, observed his salah. Then the Prophet ﷺ was watching him. Then after he finished his salah, then he came to say salam to the Prophet and then wanted to leave. Then the Prophet ﷺ said he should go back and pray. ارجع فصلي فإنك لم تصلي. He said you should go back and pray. You have not observed salah yet. Then he finished the salah, came back again, wanted to leave. Then he said to him again, go back and pray. You have not prayed yet. This is not, he's going to go for the third time now. First, he prayed, they say he hasn't prayed. Second time he prayed, they say he has not prayed. Then now he said, oh, you're the messenger of Allah. I swear by the one, in whose, who sent you with the truth, that I cannot do better than what I have done. So please teach me. Then the Prophet now taught him how to observe the salah. And he now made him to understand that had it been he died like that, he would have been in what? He lost. So Islam is a deen built on knowledge. And why did he say Allah Ta'ala is for that person path to Jannah? Because when you learn the deen, you will know what Allah wants from you and what He doesn't want from you. You will be able to distinguish right from what? Wrong. You will be able to be among those who will be conscious of Allah Ta'ala. Like in terms of consciousness of Allah or fear of Allah Ta'ala. It's easy to ask anybody. Anybody can tell you I fear Allah. Even Shaitan says you what? He fears Allah. Yeah. Inni akhafu Allah Rabbal Alamin. He said, I fear Allah the what? The Lord of the world. Yes, he fears Allah in his own way. Because yes, he knows there is limit. Yes, even whatever he does is just because Allah can allow him. He knows he himself. Because we usually remind ourselves from time to time. Creatures are, the way Allah related with us are different. There are creatures that, yes, 100%, they don't make mistake. 100%. Because they will never do anything except what Allah commands them to do. Those are who? The angels. And that is why even a non-Muslim believe angels are usually doing the right thing. That is why when you become so good, they say you are what? They will say what is an angel. Because he's someone who does what God wants. And God will never want you with what? Evil. Allah wants ease for you. يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر. وما جعل الله عليكم في الدين من حرج. Allah did not impose the deen upon you, just to make things or to make life difficult for you. So the angels are there and we in between somehow. Yes, He gives you certain liberty, decide some things on your own, and He will hold you accountable for the ones He allows you to decide. And the ones, part of your life as a human being, as a man, part of your life is controlled by Him 100%. Part of your life is controlled by Him 100%. And He doesn't hold you accountable for whatever happens there. And part He allowed you to what? To control to certain degree. Because you are not controlling anything. Part of your life, He, Allah, controls it 100%. But part of your own life, He gave you certain degree of control. You are not controlling any part of your life 100%. He controls part of your life 100%. And part of your own life, He gives you certain degree of control. But you don't have control of any part of your life 100%. Yes, you have your eyes. So when you sleep, who controls it? It's Allah. Because you don't even know what is happening that time. Your hand, your everything. When you are sleeping, so many things you can explain. And no law holds you accountable for whatever you do when you are sleeping. If it is confirmed you are sleeping. No law holds you accountable for whatever you do when you are sleeping, even Allah's law. The Prophet says in a hadith that the pen is lifted for three people. Someone who is insane, until he comes back, he regains his sanity. Second person is what? An infant, a child, until he reaches the age of what? Maturity. The third person is in someone sleeping until he wakes up from sleep. Because that time, when you are sleeping, he takes control of your life. So, and also, he holds you accountable to the level, to the degree you have power in the ones he allows you to control. Like now, yes, you want to observe Salah, it's compulsory for you to stand and observe Salah, which is obligatory. But let's assume you are paralyzed. Then he allows you to sit down because you can't control the standing anymore. He has taken charge. So the standing becomes what? Not compulsory. Because your control of your legs are what? Not as much as another person anymore. Or maybe yes, you can stand, but you are feeling dizzy. So you see, you are not what? In full control of yourself. Then they allow you to what? To stand. Because the level of control of your, of yourself is what? Is reduced by him. So he now lets you to what? Do some things within your own capacity. So, and for you to know your limitation, then you need the knowledge to be able to what? To do that. So, and when you seek for knowledge, you need to seek for knowledge for Allah's sake. Learn things that will be useful to you. And learn them for the sake of Allah. And learn them to use them. Today, part of our problems is what? We don't learn for Allah's sake. Take for example, if you go to school, maybe you studied medicine. If your goal is just to come in the midst of people and they say you are a medical doctor, maybe you may not render the expected service. Why? Because your goal is not to serve humanity. Your goal is what? To have the certificate. Just the way we are seeing in our society today. Because the goal of most of us who go to school is for certificate. People pay to get the certificate. Because they are not seeking the knowledge. They are not looking for what? Understanding. They just want to be said they are what? Graduates. And that will make us what? Not to have the full benefit of what? Of the knowledge. Because the person who overlooks something is supposed to have paid attention to learn. So long as he knows he can be able to get the paper, even if he did not go to learn that thing. So as a Muslim, you take your time, learn any useful knowledge. And the ones that are mandatory, take your time and learn them. There are certain aspects of your, virtually anything that becomes your responsibility, the knowledge of that thing becomes compulsory upon you. Anything that you cannot, establish an obligation without it, that thing, the knowledge of that thing becomes what? Obligatory. As a Muslim, you must pray, then you must know how to pray. As a Muslim, you must fast, then you must know what? How to fast. As a Muslim, you must perform Hajj. So when you want to go for Hajj, you must learn how to perform Hajj. But when you relate with people, there, in terms of relationship with people. So if we want the path of Jannah be made easy for us, then let us strive as much as we can to learn the deen. And knowledge of the deen doesn't take the whole of your time. It doesn't take the whole of your time. But unfortunately today, most of us, we don't have time. And what you don't have time for its sake to learn about how to take care of your deen, you will end up one day what? Living. So the knowledge of your deen supersedes any other knowledge. Yes, you can be your medical doctor, but when you are a medical doctor and you don't have the understanding of the guidance of your maker, of your creator, even that your medicine will not be useful. So the usefulness will not be to the extent. Like I do say, success of everything goes according to this level. The most successful thing in life is anything connected to Allah. Second level is humanity. Third level is yourself. It goes, the degree of success. Yes, today the most successful, most influential person in history was who? Is who? A messenger of Allah. Yeah. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. because he's someone whose life is governed by who? By Allah. So second level, like I said, of success of anything is what if it is for the sake of humanity. Then last level is yourself. Because if it is for yourself, and that is what we are seeing today. Yes, you have people who study pharmacy, but because they put themselves first before the society, then yes, they can contribute to making fake drugs. Yes. Yes, you have your neighbor, because he put himself above humanity. Yes, he will kidnap you to collect what? Ransom. Yes, himself first. So if you get the 100 million or whatever million he's asking, so let the society die, he doesn't care. He has achieved his goal. Yes, that's what is killing all of us. You know, we've gone to the last level, lowest level. That's the kind of like, pick everyone in their field. In their field. So no field is different, like as I used to say. Most of us is easy to condemn the politicians. The way the politicians think, that's how civil servants think. That's how, security officers think. That's how even scholars think. Pick anybody, that's how we think, because everybody is now working for himself and himself alone. So that's why the politicians cannot deliver. Go to the health sector, things are also what? Bad. The security system is also what? Bad. Yeah. Go to the market. You can buy any item and you are sure that that item is genuine. You don't trust the person you are buying from. It's the same thing. You don't trust the politician. You too, as a businessman, we don't trust you too. It's the same thing. You give us faith and you tell us it is what? It's genuine. Yes, people take drugs, but they are swallowing something else. So even if the doctor gives the right prescription, then the medicine won't work because you are not actually taking the right medicine. You are taking another substance in the name of another substance. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله العظيم الجليل لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب وخطيئة فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم نفسي بتقوى الله عز وجل. My brothers and sisters, indeed, and like I said, it's very, very important. No matter what we do, that should not make us to forget our Maker, that is Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Knowledge of how to live your life happily, peacefully is very, very important. Because the knowledge of the Quran, the knowledge of the Deen is about how you will live your life in this world. That's what it is all about. Quran is not teaching you how to live in the hereafter. No. Quran is teaching you how to live in this world. Quran is not teaching you about the hereafter. Yes, in the Deen, they will teach you how to go to the toilet. Do you go to the toilet in the hereafter? You go to the toilet? So some things you have here doesn't go there. In the Quran, you have talks about menstruation. Do ladies menstruate in the hereafter? So it's about this life. So things that, if you want to enjoy this life, you have to submit yourself to the Maker. The general rule about life is this. The person who manufactures something is the one who has rights to the manual for that thing. Toyota will not produce their car, and you expect Honda to write the manual, the operational manual. Does it go that way? Or Honda will produce their own car, and the manual is Toyota company. Can it go? So if you know who made you, then that means the person have rights and better knowledge of how you can better live. And that's why when you pick the Quran, it solves your problem. The more you deviate from the Quran, the more the level of your problem. That is a fact. It's even if it is the non-Muslims that are living their life somewhere and you think their life is better, go and check what they are doing that make their life better are things acceptable to Allah. It doesn't matter even if they are doing it in their own thinking. You know, Allah created you. Yes, He gave you some level of knowledge. That yes, sometimes you can be doing something wrong. Even you yourself doing it know is wrong. Quran commands us with what? Justice. So anyone doing justice somewhere, even if it's not a Muslim, that justice will give him good result of justice. So if you do injustice, whether you are a kafir, whether you are a Muslim, you will see the result of injustice. So injustice cannot give you something good. If you say somebody is kind-hearted, Quran commands you with kindness. So it doesn't matter who exhibits that kindness. It's something wanted by Allah. So when you are kind, whether you are a Muslim or not a Muslim, there is reward for that kindness. And reward for acts, you have in two ways. There is worldly reward and there is the reward of the hereafter. Most of us, our mind is about the hereafter. You must understand something. As a Muslim, whatever Allah commands you to do, when you do them before before you enjoy the reward of the hereafter, you will enjoy the reward of the world first. That's why even in your dua, you will say, Rabbana atina fid dunya. You didn't just start with the akhirah. You say, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana. Oh Allah, give us good where? In this world. Wa fil akhirati hasana. And in the hereafter what? Good. So you want good here and good there. Islam commands you with what when you do, you will have peace. Islam commands you with what you do, you will have security. Islam commands you with what you do, you will have what? Good economy. Islam commands you with what when you do, everybody will respect the other. That's Islam. When you have a community where the younger ones doesn't respect the elders and the elders does not show mercy to the younger ones, there's going to be a problem. Islam says, "Man lam yuwaqqir kabirana wa lam yarham saghirana falaysa minna." The one who does not respect our elders and the elder who does not show mercy to the what? To the younger ones, he's not what? Part of us. You know, those things, you need the knowledge of the deen to understand those things. So we need, and like I said, we need to learn our deen, understand it from the Prophet's perspective. From whose perspective? From the Prophet's perspective. And live by it based on the teachings of the Prophet. That is why Allah told you clearly in the Quran, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. He said in the messenger, there are what? A lot of what? Good examples, good characters for you to what? To emulate. Today we don't take him as role model. And we are yes, I'm not exonerating anybody. Every sector, the disease in that sector is the same disease in the other sectors. So my appeal to myself and the rest of us today, don't sit down and think it is the politicians that need to change. The politicians need to change because they are also people except few who don't think about Allah. The civil servants also, like I said, most of them also do things and don't think about Allah. You are not sure of dropping your file in the presence of, in the office of any civil servant and you think the file will just be signed without you doing something. When you meet the officer on the road, except few, you don't feel very free. It's the same thing. So everybody is doing the same damage in his own area. But you know, it's easy for you to pick someone else's fault. That's life. It's easy for you to pick someone else's fault. Go to the bank, come to any sector, it's the same. Go to the banking sector, it's the same thing. Sometimes deductions are made you cannot explain. Yes, when they mistakenly add their own money to you, what happens? They will correct it without reaching out to you. But by law, that account is your own. So if anything is credited into your account, they are not supposed to move it out without what? Your knowledge. because the money has entered your account. Maybe from their own staff mistakenly. Maybe they're supposed to put 35,000 in your account and they put what? 350 by mistakenly adding 10. Yes, I'm saying this because me, like myself, it has happened to me. Yes. There was a time my account was credited, so the extra zero was added to it. Yes, within an hour, the amount was what? Reverted. I wasn't called. But your own money will be mistakenly deducted. You will reach that same person and the person will tell you, give us so number of working days. Why is it easy for you to correct your own and it is not easy for you to correct my own? It's a normal common sense. You know the mistake. Yes, you withdrew something from my account. Because if it is someone else that mistakenly put that money into my account, that person won't come and take it. Right? I won't be contacted. So you too mistakenly put your money into my account. Then I should be contacted to give mandate for the money to be what? Taken back. So everyone where he controls, he is what? Doing damage there. So if we want to change, like I said, we as Muslims, let us be the what? The agents. Let's start. Yes, we know the country is not everybody Muslim, but we should start. Not because we want anybody to praise us, not because we want anyone's favor, but because we want to please who? Our Maker. And also we need to learn to give ourselves excuses. Because sometimes, you know, if you are outside, you think it's easy for some corrections to be easily made. It cannot be made overnight. No matter how godly you think you are. So when you move into politics, you will make some mistakes. Because some of us, we don't give some of our brothers excuse a bit when some mistakes happen. We need to keep advising them, admonishing them in our various sectors too. But like I said, one fact remains. In every sector, among the politicians, some will enter Jannah. Among the civil servants, some will enter Jannah. Among what? The security officers, some will, because in every circle, you have those who fear Allah. So don't think there is one circle that is completely condemned. No circle is condemned. Wallahi, some politicians fear Allah more than some imams. Some damages some politicians do are caused by some people who think are their imams. Because they are the ones who are not telling them the truth. So we all have to work together to change our country. We all have to work together to change our society. It's not easy. It's not easy doing the right thing. May Allah Ta'ala make it easy for us. May Allah make all of us, inshallah, people who will want to do the right thing, who will want to go close to Allah, who will learn our deen and try to live by it. But like I do say, it's not easy. They say nothing good comes easy. No one is perfect. You can't get any perfect human being. It doesn't exist because that's not our nature. We are not angels. But yes, we should also not relax. We should work towards being perfect. We should work towards being 100% upright. And like I do tell us, in order to become 100% upright, you will achieve 90, 80, 70, 60. And inshallah, with that, you are guaranteed Jannah. May Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala guarantee us inshallah Jannah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اغفر لنا وقنا هذا البيت ولا عمل إلا فرجت ولا كبر الفصل إلا قضيته ولا عسير إلا يسرت ولا عدو إلا فترت إلا عفوت ولا ميت إلا رحمته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاة إلا عنتنا على الراحمين. عباد الله قوموا إلى صلاتكم.